We are back, motherfuckers. Yes, WrestleMan with the podcast for the first time in almost 2 months has made its long anticipated return. And what a better way with the return than to talk about
War Games! War Games!
Oh, here it is.
War Games! War Games!
Let's go.
Welcome to WrestleMan with the podcast. I'm Dylan Shields. We talk Raw, SmackDown, wrestling news, and some fun top lists. With that being said, ring the bell.
Yes, it is back. The return of War Games for Survivor Series is coming up this Saturday. And I can't do it alone. I got three very special guests here. Yes, not one, not two, but three special guests here. Two of them you're very familiar with, and one, we got a very brand new guest here. First up here, you've seen a multitude of times. Troy, with the return, how are we doing, Troy?
Living, breathing. I think I'm here. I want to get past Christmas so bad. I don't.
It's the holiday season, baby.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not as fun for adults. Another
Especially when
guy.
you work retail. Ugh.
Tell me about it. Anyway, another person making his return, and my man just had wisdom teeth surgery, and he's sucking it up for this episode. Matthew Warris.
You bet.
I'm drugged up, man. Take them all, man.
He's as high as Snoop Dogg is right now.
Snort it in, man.
But
Yeah,
how's it been?
not good. I didn't go to bed till way late, and I didn't get up till like when I told you guys, which was like 5 o'clock, 4:30.
Nice.
Man, luckily you woke up
College
when you did.
schedule,
You wouldn't
baby.
be on here. Yeah.
I need to be doing schoolwork and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm also
who
supposed
cares?
to
War games
I'm
are
also
more
supposed to
important.
contact UPMC, so I can't really talk right now, though. So
Lovely.
All right. Away from work, wrestling's more important. Making his very first appearance here. We watched WrestleMania with this man. He is Troy's good friend, Sam. How are we?
Hey!
Yeah, with the background.
With the background. I love it. How are we doing, Sam?
Oh, getting ready for War Games, baby. It's going to be a time.
I am so pumped. Before we actually just predict the matches, since it's been almost 2 months since me and Troy had our little episode for Bad Blood, what do we think of the landscape of what's going on in WWE right now with the build to War Games? We just passed Crown Jewel with the Crown Jewel titles that aren't going to be defended till next year.
Yeah,
just
that was a
wish
waste of time. That was a huge waste of time, wasn't it?
But what do we think of overall the build to War Games so far? Do we think it's been good?
I will say one thing. I wish that Kevin versus Cody would have happened on War Games,
Yeah.
but they booked it for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, I kind
I
of
might as well pop it up right there. Yeah, it is confirmed
Yeah.
for Saturday night's main event.
A TV show. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
very weird.
Isn't it a pay-per-view this year?
No, it's
I think
on
it's
NBC.
it's on NBC. I think they're gonna treat it, like a pay-per-view in terms of matches,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to treat it like a premium television show, I think is the way to put it. Like, yeah, it's going to be on a special network and it's got a special brand, but everything else about it is just a normal television show, I think.
I wonder if it's gonna be 3 hours like the usual PLEs are nowadays, or is it gonna be like a shortened down event?
That
I
part's a
wonder-
good question.
I thought it was 2 hours, but maybe you're right, Troy, that it's 3. I think this is the rumored main event for the show, which makes sense.
Which is fine. Honestly, we'll talk about it when that show comes out. At this point, I would like to see Kevin win for that. I think it would be just different, you know?
I agree. I think I'm with you on that one. I mean,
I-
that promo between the two of them last Friday. Oh my goodness.
How
Give
about
him
the
the
shirts that my man has wore? The
Oh,
Kevin is right shirt, the suit,
That
dressed
was
up for the
hilarious.
occasion.
Oh,
The suit T-shirt was just fantastic.
that was. They better sell that on WWEshop.com.
Do we think they're gonna do an angle at Survivor Series? Because I know Cody was on like front and center the poster for War Games, and now he's not even advertised for a match. So do you think we're at least gonna get an angle?
Probably. I don't know where they're gonna squeeze it because they got 2 War Games. You got like a couple title matches. I don't know where you're gonna put it. So they'd have to squeeze in
Cody
somewhere.
could just come out. Cody could just come out and call out Kevin. And Nick's gonna be like, "Oh no, don't do that," blah blah blah, and then Kevin and Cody might just fight at War Games. I could see that happening, or I could just see Cody just beating the shit out of Kevin backstage or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, something along that line is certainly possible, and you never really know with how many. Well, I think after Monday, 3 new matches were added, like just recently,
Yeah,
or at least
just-
confirmed. So
Yeah,
you
last
never know
night.
what they might add come Friday.
Yeah, honestly, you never know. I could see an angle where KO pile drives Cody since he pile drove Orton and Orton's out of action. So it's like, oh, the dreaded move, the dreaded pile driver. I love that in WWE they're making it like a dangerous move. And yeah, in
'Cause it
AEW, it's like, simple move. It's like
A
nothing.
power drive could kill you. Yeah, a power
And
drive
it
could kill
could.
you.
In AEW, you're seeing a tombstone pile driver jump from the apron to the steel steps,
And then they get up.
and then they just pop right
Oh,
back
okay.
up. Like,
So I didn't watch. The only thing about Full Gear I
I was
watched
about to
was
say.
the.
Sorry, I was
That's
about
my
to
dog.
say what did I'll let you talk, Troy, but for the two of you two, I was gonna ask what did you see Full Gear? What'd you think of it at all?
did
All
not
I
see
watched
much
was-
other than the clips.
Was the QT Marshall the only match that mattered on the damn
Oh,
show?
yeah.
The only match that felt like got a lot of build
Here
on
comes
anything
the
besides the show.
boo!
Okay, listen. Did you hear that apparently he had a broken foot before the match started and he still
I
went through
heard
the
that.
entire
Yep.
fucking beast?
Yeah, I did hear about that, and he's quite the talker. I'll give him that.
He is. And the Rizzler got
They
the biggest
are.
pop of the damn night.
I mean, he's just like an indie wrestler in New Jersey, I think. So I mean, he's a professional. Like he
knows
he
how
can
to
work.
work.
But the
Yeah.
fact that he did it with a broken foot, my God.
Yeah, well, the
Baller.
broken foot is insane, and they've already seen. I don't know exactly what the statistics were, but it's one of like pro wrestling's top viewed clips.
Of the year.
I don't know if it's of the year or of the month or whatever it was. The reach that they did exactly what I think they wanted to do with this whole angle. Their reach is insane. So that kind of
People,
like,
whoever
views,
shat on it,
oh
I
my
think
gosh.
was people shitting on it. I think was ridiculous. Like it's a smart business move. These guys
Yeah,
are
they're popular.
trending.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
big TikTokers. Why
I
not
think-
bring them in?
they're
think
huge right now.
The problem they did was they had it on the pre-show, which was free. They should have made it on the pay-per-view so people would actually pay for it. I feel like they could have at least got a few more pay-per-view buys and like shit like that if they put it on the main show.
It's probably because no disrespect to QT Marshall, but I don't know if he's exactly a paper.
Oh, he's a jobber. Oh yeah, no. You go to see the Rizzler and shit like that.
But hey, I've seen enough. Give that man the title, dethrone Moxley.
Listen, okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I said, I didn't watch anything else, so I don't know if Matt. Did you watch the show?
No,
No.
Did
I'm
you
drugged
see,
up, remember?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, did you at least see the main event like ending? The whole fiasco with Christian
I
trying
heard-
to cash in, but then Jay White came out, and then Darby, when they were running away, Moxley's group, Darby's car crashed into theirs.
I didn't see
all
no
that
car crash stuff, but I did see that Cassidy lost, and then I did see that Christian Cage did try to cash in, but that I was only
Failed.
looking at clips from like Instagram or photos or whatever. So I did
Yeah,
see that Danny Garcia won the TNT title though.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
that was a
That's
good
true.
moment for him.
That's a good one.
Actually, yeah, that's the.
I
That's
think Mercedes probably had her best AEW match against Statlander. A lot of people are
not
saying
saying
it.
much though.
I
Let's
was
be
gonna say, I
honest.
don't know how low that bar is compared to
Like I
how
love
she's
Chris
been
Statlander.
recently.
She's like my favorite women's wrestler in AEW is Chris Statlander, so obviously she's going to have a good match. with anyone, so that's fine. It's just, man, I am so underwhelmed with all Mercedes Moné things ever.
Speaking of women's news in AEW, Toni Storm apparently announcing her retirement from AEW and wrestling. Do we think this is real or do we think this is an angle?
Absolutely not.
This
No
is
chance.
totally real.
Man's a bigger mark.
Yeah, it's I mean I imagine it's certainly not real, and I would really hope that it's not because she's at the top of her game right now.
Yeah.
So it's a good. I think it seems like a good time to try to make it an angle because people are gonna be a little bit confused because she's at what seems to be like one of her peak times right now. They're gonna be like,
Do we think it's at least a character change on her sorts?
She's leaving. She's leaving. Just good to go back to Hollywood. She got to film her movies again.
Gonna work for WWE Studios.
Her 1920s short films.
Ah.
Silent films.
I'm curious though, because like I don't think she can go back to like her regular Toni Storm, but I think the timeless gimmick, fun as it was, I don't know what you can build upon that. So I guess it'd probably be a gimmick change, but I don't know to what.
that's got a shelf life. It really does, and I'm not 100% sure how much more you can do with it. Just like you said.
Yeah.
So I would hope that they would go some sort of gimmick change with it. I don't know what direction, but what she's doing right now does have a limit.
She goes to the 60s films. I don't know.
I was gonna say she starts going up decades. She becomes the 60s like
It's
rebel.
like WandaVision. Yeah, it comes WandaVision.
Yeah, just keep going through the decades.
But
She gets like an afro going in the 80s and all that, starts doing the disco.
See, that would be funny.
I'll
Then
pay
the
to
great
see that.
Disco Inferno come out with her. Disco's now her new manager or something.
That would be
Her
something.
theme song changes to Brutus's Clay's theme song.
You remind me of him. Oh my gosh!
Wait, you mean the former NWA World Champion, Sam? You don't remember?
And the guy that's
absolutely.
on Fox News like every night.
Because that's the only thing that. Fucking.
It's a crazy pull. It's a crazy pull.
But going back to the world title scene real quick, because the whole Darby thing happened. What do we think's going on here with that? With Christian Cage, now Adam Page is interacting with Moxley. Who do we think like dethrones him or takes down this new faction? Because I think there's kind of a lack of challengers for Moxley at the moment. So do we think it's Darby most likely?
Matt has an opinion.
It's
I think.
Yes, Matt.
apologies.
You might
for
have
the
Justice. I think QT Marshall should after that big push that he had on the pre-show. No, I think Darby's a good safe bet.
I think
maybe-
Darby's. It's time.
I could see maybe Lashley if they decide to go like a face route within the Hurt Syndicate, but I think they're staying as heels for right now.
Yeah.
It's like a faction warfare, the Hurt Syndicate versus what is the new? It's not the Blackpool Combat Club now, was it?
Yeah, they changed it.
Like the Death Riders or something.
Okay, I kind of like that name. Not gonna lie.
It's not
But
bad.
if they do like Hurt Syndicate versus them, you could definitely have Bobby Lashley choke out Moxley.
So many factions in AEW are heels. Moxley's, Hurt Syndicate, the Elite.
What's a face one? And we used to have so many face factions. I don't think we got any at this point. Unless you count the Acclaimed as faces.
The Learning Tree.
Oh God! Don't.
Bye,
I'm
guys.
the learning tree.
Channel. But like the Acclaimed are still faces, so I guess
For now, they're kind of like
For now.
teasing I think they teased in the tag match. They're turning on each other a little bit.
I don't know where that's gonna go. Because let's be honest, I don't think I think them apart, we're not gonna do well. I believe. Like I think they're gonna fall and burn if they ever separate the Acclaimed. Because I think they're just such a tight package that if they go their separate ways, because I'm gonna ask Max Caster, not a great wrestler.
It's
Great
Yeah,
at promos. He can talk like meh, but I don't think he's that compelling a wrestler. So I think once he breaks off from Anthony Bowens, he's definitely gonna be like showing his flaws.
Hey, I knew Max Caster before AEW, all right? And before that, he was within a different group.
Never got his
We'll
own.
talk about that group.
Surprisingly, Chris Statlander was the leader.
Really? What was that faction called?
It was called the Shook Crew.
Listen, but all I gotta say is, I love the Outrunners. They're my favorite thing. If I ever somehow catch a collision clip, it's just the Outrunners. I love the Outrunners. I'm sad they didn't beat Private Party for the tag title, so I wanted to bring the Outrunners in because the Outrunners are fucking awesome. They worked for my one company, Rise Wrestling, back when they did a tag tournament, and I just fell in love with them. And then I saw them in AEW and Ring of Honor, and I just wish out the Outrunners because they're awesome.
I wanted them to win too, but at the same time, I was like, no. I mean, they should have Private Party retained because they just won the tag titles. I feel like
I know.
the Outrunners will become tag champs. That ain't a prediction.
I'm
That's
praying.
fire.
I'm praying.
They're gonna have their moment. It seems like
At All In, at All Out. I don't know which one. They have two.
one of the two.
I can see them doing that on All In. That'd be crazy. The crowd go insane.
See? Don't tell me that pop
would
won't
be-
be legendary.
It would. I was
But
gonna say
besides-
go back to the world title scene. I feel like Darby's a safe bet, but I could see a world where he wins, but then Cage cashes in to win the title. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love to see
That's
that.
exactly what
character
I
of
was
his.
thinking too.
I think his character as a champion would be amazing. I mean, he made the TNT title relevant when he had it, so he
True.
could sure as hell make the AEW World Title like even more relevant as a good heel champion.
Yeah, I think that's definitely could be a big moment for him, and I definitely see them kind of doing. I could see that happening. Give Darby the win, and then Cage completely spoil it to really kind of heel turn on the already heel.
The double heel turn.
Add on
Do a Dominic
to the heel.
Mysterio.
Yeah. Add on to what kind of a heel he already is to do it against one of the top people that everyone just loves. I think that would definitely be. I could see a world where they book it that way. Who knows?
Yeah.
Though? It's very wide open right now. I think.
And that's a good thing. It makes it unpredictable. Speaking of wild, again, last thing here before actual pay-per-view, the New Day. What
Oh
an
my
intense
God.
segment last night on Raw, and what a story this has been. Like the interest I've grown from the beginning of this deception and them just teasing, turning on each other, and the tension, and Woods wearing black tights now instead of the good old colored ones, and
then they got
argument they had last night.
Odyssey Jones comes in for 2 weeks and then leaves.
2 weeks.
That
Dude,
was
I think
Xavier Woods bringing up Brock Lesnar beating him in 5 seconds.
that
it was
that
intense.
promo
cool.
between the two of them was probably the most disrespectful 2 minutes in WWE history. It was insane.
Give those guys a pay-per-view, man. The poor guys haven't been on pay-per-view, I don't think, since Mania. So
They'll probably be at the Saturday night's main event show.
but I was gonna say
Probably.
we got the 10 years next week. What do we think's gonna happen here?
Who turns on who?
I want the wild card of Kofi turning heel because Kofi's never been a full-on heel. He's always been a comedy heel. I want Kofi. I'm just fascinated if he could do a serious kind of heel stuff because that's the inverse of what you're expecting is supposed to happen.
Exactly.
So I would kind of want Kofi to be the one that beats him up.
Well, I think Xavier Woods too last night was well, you never want to do anything. You never take chances. So maybe that teased something.
So
there.
that could play into Kofi being the one that turns. It's certainly interesting to see how this has built from whenever they started this whole deal with Cross kind of trying to get in there and no one really
shout out to
liked
him.
it.
Shout out to him. Him and Miz together have been killing it.
That
Shout
they
out to
have been
those
way
two.
better. They have been way
He's
better.
been that whole deal's been way better with Miz because I know how many people just did not want any part of it when it was we talked about that. They didn't want any part of it when it was Cross that was in there. And now that he's kind of been on the wayside and now they've been building this with just the two of them, everyone wants in. Everyone wants to see what's going to happen, what'll happen next week, who's going to turn on who. It's become huge. So props to Cross for kind of getting this thing started.
Matt, what's your thoughts about what you think's happening next week?
So I'm gonna say Big E's gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna announce that he's back. He's gonna turn on Kofi and Woods.
Oh,
Jesus,
immediate
Biggie.
happy return and immediately healed. No.
No, but I will say I think that there are being rumors that Big E is supposed to make a surprise return to maybe give us an update. So I could see him like trying to keep the group together, but
I mean, it makes sense.
I think eventually it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Woods that's gonna turn on Kofi and Big E.
Oh, he attacked
Oh.
Big E too.
Going the whole way.
I don't see Kofi turning heel. I could see him getting upset and all that, but Woods is being more of the heel last couple weeks. So with the crowds booing him and all that, I feel like that he's kind of like he feels like he's just like he feels like he's in the right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so I don't see him just like being the one that Kofi attacks him or whatever. I don't see that happening. To me, that don't make sense. I mean, sometimes I like when they do like the whole swerve. It's like, oh, it's the other person that turns. But in this situation, I don't think it's Kofi that's going to turn. I think it's going to be Woods.
Speaking of
agree.
the,
I think he's too likable for Kofi to be a guy that turns heel. Woods, we've seen as a heel in the past, like even before WWE, like he was a heel. So I think he could definitely pull it off. I think
So what's
Big
funny-
E's going to return. I'm just not sure if he's going to be cleared or not, just because I don't know how severe this injury is. But I think he'll at least show up to this.
So what's
he'll-
funny is
he'll
that
have a part.
on YouTube they did like a whole best of the New Day stuff, and I only watched like a little bit, and it was like showing like since like 10 years ago when they started and all that. And I completely forgot back in like 2015, 16 that Woods was such an annoying asshole who would not shut up on the sideline.
I still think that was the best version of the New Day when they were annoying assholes because the crowd
Yeah.
actually started to like it.
And I was just like, man, I completely forgot how annoying he is.
It's also crazy. 10 years. I remember when they joined together, and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be horse shit. And then look, 10 years later, and they're still together in some way. Like they gotta break up.
They're
and
a
it's like, wow.
faction that, at least for now, for once, didn't break up for a long time. When's the last
For
time that's
10
happened?
years, no
10
faction
years.
WWE's last that long.
Yeah.
Shield didn't. 3MB didn't. Or the Wyatt family didn't. The New Day
Not
lasted for 10
3MB.
It's just-
Oh God,
But
3MB.
Troy and Sam,
M.
since Matt mentioned Big E,
B.
do you think he's going to return and do you think he's going to be cleared or do you think he might just come back? Like, what do you two think about it, the Big E situation?
From what I know, Big E's kind of happy in his retirement. I think he's fully okay with never coming back. I think he said something like, yeah, like it's at this point like a lost cause if he returns. I mean, if he does return, I'll be happy. I will worry for his health, but if he's happy being retired and dating Mia Yim's sister, I mean, God bless. God bless. Do what you want.
Yeah, I think he definitely comes back and has a part in this in some way, shape, or form. I'm kind of on the same boat with Troy, though. I've seen, like, when he's doing the pre-shows and all the other type interview things, he does seem content in the not wrestling sort of deal. He does mention that he's, like, still getting those tests and things to see how things are. So there's always, he's doing well in keeping that door open just a little bit for us to be intrigued about it. But yeah, I don't think if any clearance comes, I don't think it comes next week. But he definitely, I think, has to come back and have some kind of part in it. I feel like it's a disservice if they don't in some way. It certainly make things a little bit interesting as well, going into the whole potential turn, what's going to happen sort of deal also.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Matt, you're in the lone here in terms of thinking he's going to be clear. All three of us think he'll at least come back and not be clear.
Well, like,
so
you can
here
also
comes
say,
the incoming "I told you so" text if Big E's
Yeah.
yeah,
Just-
it's gonna
We
happen.
know how good this fucker is with predictions.
I was gonna
It's
say this.
annoying.
Do you remember when Corey Graves got cleared? Was that like a couple years ago? Like 2 years ago, he was fully cleared and he could wrestle again. It just never did.
Yeah.
So it
I
could
thought
be
they
that.
were- I thought they were teasing, like- I
Yeah.
thought they were teasing like Corey Graves versus like Pat McAfee. Like they've been building that up.
That'd
But
be
nothing.
hilarious. That'd be hilarious. But I love when the two of them are on the same announce desk
I've
for
heard
like a pay per view or
rumors-
whatever.
I've heard rumors that Drew McIntyre's vouching for a Wade Barrett feud. So
I have heard that as well.
That
I've
would
heard
be
that
awesome.
Wade, I don't know if he is cleared or if he might be close to being cleared. They're both doing quite well in keeping that door open too, with the social media teasers and different things like that. I've seen a thing or two from Mr. Stu Bennett, as it were, on Twitter regarding that whole thing.
it'll be very interesting to see what the future holds. But we got to get into the actual pay-per-view itself. The reason why this episode is
So why
here
you filming?
upon us here.
Here we
And
are.
we are going to start with
War Games.
the women's War Games match.
Oh,
Because
okay.
in reality, that's probably kicking off the show, and the men's is
Let's be
probably the
honest.
main event.
This match cobbled together very quickly. They were like, shoot, the women haven't done much. We need to make a women's War Games. We got 2 weeks. Up. Go.
Well, and at the last minute,
Basically.
Bailey took Cargill's place. So
Okay, yeah, Cargill's injured, so I understand that. But, like, this match just feels like it's kind of rushed to be War Games. I remember people vouching for the Final Testament versus Wyatt Six to be the second War Games match.
yeah, that
That
felt
was
like it
had
made more
more story.
sense.
Yeah,
It made more
this
sense.
match just came together out of nowhere. So
I mean, yeah, I've been seeing a lot about that. Like, it seems to be the consensus everyone's seeing. It's getting, completely rushed. It's kind of coming together as we go. There's not really much of a story. I mean, they're making something out of nothing, I guess, if you want to have the women have a War Games match. But, I mean, it's going to be a good match because just with the caliber of the women that are going to be in the match. So in the ring, it will be, like, it's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be a good match. But it is odd just to kind of see why they're just kind of toppling everything together and just kind of putting it out there just so they kind of get on the card here.
Matt, what do you think? You're excited for it? You look excited for it.
I love Tiffy.
Oh, question. Before we get to the predictions of the show, if Tiffy cashes in, since both the champions are out, who does she cast in on? If it's
Ooh,
both
that's
are out.
It's
That's
got to
true.
be Nia. It's got to be Nia 100%. The way they've been teasing like the dissension between them, people are
Imagine
gonna
she
like.
cashes in during the War Games match.
And then leaves. Wins the belt, leaves.
With the belt.
Dude,
I don't
it's-
know what to feel about Liv and Nia having a match and then teaming up all of a sudden, like not even a month later. Like
It's
I
like
get
that-
it; they kind of like justified it, but it's also like it's just a little bit weird. Like,
Yeah,
you
Like
said,
and
the
it's
I
like
Norwich
they're
match
kind of
didn't matter.
yeah.
I don't think Tiffy's cashing in because from what I heard was that there's being rumors that she might cash in for the first Raw on Netflix.
It makes sense.
I get
It
it,
does.
yeah. But
That'd be a
and,
big moment.
yeah, I think that's one of the big things as to why they're like, you can tell they're just kind of like throwing it together. Because why would those two, other than a throwaway like reasoning that they kind of put in for story, why do those two team so quickly? But like, I would see at least I think I predict another tease of a cash in coming in some way, shape, or form because of the nature of the match, because both champions are there. So I feel like they're going to try to do something in that regard. I don't think it actually happens, but I can almost guarantee that some kind of tease might come from it. And that is, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match, though. It's going to be an absolute banger, I think, with the talent that's in there.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, and I'm happy that the women have gotten main events too on Raw the past few
Mhm.
weeks.
Mm.
What we think of the story, like I'm happy that they're at least getting the spotlight that they deserve. Bianca, Nia, Bailey, Tiffy, all of them have put on pretty banger matches to close out Raws. I feel like with the convoluted story, I think injuries like Rhea's injury and then Cargill's have had a lot to do with why it feels so forced. Because I feel like it would have just
Yeah.
been Rhea and Liv making up teams if it wasn't for Rhea being injured and out for so long. But I think they've
Yeah,
done a
and they had to
decent
throw
job of
something
it at
together.
least. Yeah, but I think they've done a good job of it making sense for the most part. As hard
I
as
can
it
agree.
is for WWE, it's not easy to do. And it kind of sucks that women's War Games matches every year seem like they're the ones that are thrown in there, while the men's ones actually make perfect sense. But let's get into actual predictions here. Whoever wants to go first, who do we think's actually winning this?
I love Tiffany Stratton.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm gonna. Oh, Troy left.
We lost to Troy.
For once, it's him.
Yeah. I'll go first. I think Nia Jax and Liv's team's gonna win. I don't think that. I think there's not. I think there's dissension within the other team. Because like with Bailey putting in, I think if I remember correctly, Bianca is not cool with Bailey.
Yeah,
So I think that there's a dissension between that and then okay, well, who actually attacked Jade Cargill? You know, was it Bailey or So I think that Tiffany, Nia, Liv, and Candice will win. I'm also wanted to point out that I'm glad Candice is actually on a pay-per-view. I feel like she's finally getting a push now. I mean, it sucks that Indy Hartwell had to get released, but
yeah.
All right, Sam, I'll let you go next. Who do you think's winning this?
I've been back and forth on this one a little bit here. I want to say I gotta go with. I think I'm following the lead of Matt here. I think there's got to be some sort of shenanigans that are going to happen here. I know it's no DQ and it's War Games, but something's going to happen. I think the team heel, as it were, come out with the win here.
Interesting. And like Matt said earlier with the Bianca Bailey thing, there's a lot of layers to this at least, which makes it interesting to see. But Troy, who do you think's winning this?
I guess we're gonna go 3 for 3. I'm going to heel team as well. I think Bailey's gonna be the one that eats the loss, and that will like drive Bianca to be like, "Hey, I was telling you that she was bad, and like now she lost for us," kind of thing. Deception. Also, I'm just thinking, this is kind of the same thing about this War Games match. What are they doing with the women's tag titles now that Jade's injured? Have they announced that they're gonna like vacate the belts or not? Because Bianca didn't have the belt on Raw, if I remember correctly.
No, I don't think so. I didn't see any rumor or anything official that they'd be
maybe
vacating.
they're getting rid of it. They're slowly getting rid of it.
They do. They got
I saw it rumored that it might get vacated, but I'm not 100%. I guess it depends.
Just inactivate them. I'm happy if they stop. Now they have 2 actual good women's mid-card belts. You don't need the tag titles.
Yeah, I don't think you need them. I think you can I get why they had them at the time. And I did like that they were able to kind of bleed into the NXT a little bit. I think you can still do that if you wanted to. I know they have a women's mid-card belt over there as well. But if you still wanted that little bleed into NXT, you can still do that with these two if you wanted. But yeah, I don't think the women's tag titles really have much of a need to be there anymore. I mean, they haven't felt like much except for when it's a Bianca or a Jade holding them. And even then, it's not really that much.
Yeah,
especially now that we have 2 new women's mid-card titles.
Yeah,
we might as well quickly discuss that. We might as well quickly discuss that since this is the only women's match here. Since we're deep into the, I believe, U.S. title tournament, and the IC one on Raw is just about to get started. So
those belts are gorgeous. They're fucking
things of beauty. Things of beauty. Those 2 are.
Fuck me, man! I want to.
I think
wanted to bring something up.
Sorry, I was going to say one real quick. Do we all think that Chelsea Green needs to win the U.S. title?
Yes. Yeah. U.S. has to be Chelsea.
No one else.
It's just perfect. It's a perfect first champion with her character. For the IC women's
Dakota Kai.
I think
give me Dakota. Give me Dakota.
Could be a good choice.
I like that choice too. I'm thinking give me Dakota or Zelina for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Zelina Vega probably.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, did they announce when the tournament was going to conclude for the women's IC title?
I think both. I thought both were at Saturday night's main event.
It seems like it would make sense. The US one would be interesting because they'd be letting that wait out a little bit. But it would make sense to have both of those be crowned at Saturday night's main event, I would believe.
Here's what I think they're going to do. Because they haven't started the women's Intercontinental, but they have with the U.S. I think the U.S. will be at Saturday night's main event, and then women's Intercontinental will be crowned the first night on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a smart move. That's probably something that they would do too.
That's a genius move, yeah, because you got time to build it.
See, even when I'm on drugs, I'm the best booker.
thought you were gonna say the Royal Rumble, and I'm like, no, because the Royal Rumble's like in February this year.
I was gonna say that's way too far if you hold it out that far.
I just hope we actually have storylines and stories with these titles and not just the tag titles where it's just like, oh, we're a randomly thrown team. We'll compete for the title. Like, hopefully we'll actually get some decent stories.
And I think
that's why Chelsea
would
be a perfect first champion.
Well, if they're doing it, if they do it like how they do with NXT with their mid-card women's title, then yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's a good time, especially now that those two have been introduced to X-Nay and get rid of the women's tag titles, because that's kind of what you've seen is it's just a bunch of, hey, here's two people, we're going to throw them together. It's like, I mean, that's been a problem for tag team wrestling, even on the men's side too, for a little bit. Yeah. But like on the women's side, you don't have any established teams. And if you do, they're very few and very far between. So they've just kind of been, hey, let's throw these two together, give them the titles so these can kind of stay around. So when you have these other belts in here, I think I'm kind of with the let's get rid of the women's tag titles and let's just kind of put all the focus on making some pretty good stories for these two US and the IC titles.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'll predict for the women's War Games match. We'll be 4 for 4 here in terms of agreeing. I was back and forth on this a little bit, but I think the fact that the good guy women have the advantage kind of made it not obvious, but made me think they're probably going to give it to the heels, especially for the fact that Nia's kind of taken a decent amount of losses as champion. So I think they might get her, like, since both her and Liv are on the same team and they're champions, they want to book them a little bit stronger. So they'll probably give them the win here. And maybe after the matches when we'll see more of a tease from Tiffany Stratton when one of them gets the win. Matt might be right in terms of Bayley taking the loss. Maybe seems like the most likely because of the Bianca and Bayley dissension. Like, because I doubt Bianca's not going to get pinned. I doubt Rhea's going to get pinned. I don't think Io's getting pinned. So, yeah, sorry, Bayley. It's probably going to you. So.
You're probably getting the pin here. But no one here to save the graphic on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the heel. I'm going with the heel team to wins the Women's War Games, and yeah, like you said, Sam, should be really good. Let's go to the U.S. title now. LA Knight versus
the most random
dark anime character Shinsuke Nakamura.
Listen, I love the look. I love the look.
Anakin Skywalker, Shinsuke.
Yeah.
He's gonna go kill some younglings.
But I'm excited for it. Kind of rushed a little bit because he just came back a few weeks ago, but I'm still excited. At least LA Knight finally has legit heel challengers. So what do we think of this? I'll start with Matt. What do we think of overall the return? And then also, who do you think is going to win this?
I think the return was good. So when this happened, it was during the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, so I was not watching SmackDown when he returned. I was too busy trying to fix my Netflix to try and get in.
You're too busy seeing the buffers. The buffers.
I'm scared when Raw goes on Netflix. That's gonna
144p looking ass.
Hey, they better have that fixed by January 6th. That's all I gotta say.
They better.
I do like the new gimmick that he's got going on. I do not think he's going to win. I think LA Knight is definitely going to win. But at the same time, who knows? They might pull a swerve and surprise us and have Nakamura get like an upset victory to win the title maybe. But I don't see it. I think LA Knight's going to retain. He has his own custom U.S. title with the LA on the strap or whatever. And I think he's been killing it as the U.S. champion. He's been defending it a lot, like almost, I want to say like almost every SmackDown or so. But so I think LA Knight's going to retain.
All right.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say that we have a shock and we have a new U.S. champion because for the love of God, let this man win a feud. This man's always been he's always been booked like in the story as legit, like when he fought Seth or anybody else as a contender, but he always lost the feud. So I feel like you're kind of doing this new character a disservice if he immediately loses. So maybe there's part of me that's like, is it going to be some smudge finish where Nakamura like green misses him and it's a DQ or something? I'm thinking maybe, but I'll go bold, and I think we'll have a new U.S. champ because I think LA Knight can overcome that, and I think maybe it'll be better for his character to have to chase for the title back and get it off of Nakamura because I don't know who else besides Nakamura LA Knight's got right now in terms of heel challengers. So I think they'll milk out this feud a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to go with the shock new U.S. champion because Nakamura, man, he needs it to me.
He needs something, and like you said, the only really contender we're seeing for the title on the heel challenger side is them just trying to shove Santos Escobar down our throats to try to have him contend for that title every week. But yeah, I don't know. This one's been tough. I loved the return of Shinsuke. I like that they're kind of going back to that dark Shinsuke that they had with Seth. I loved the character that they had.
Yes.
The promos are insane. I love the video packages that they do. I agree with you that if he loses immediately, that it would be a disservice to the character. However, we've seen it before because that's exactly what happened in the Seth feud. He lost that feud. He shouldn't have. Everyone felt it was a disservice to that character. I am so close to wanting to go bold with you and have Shinsuke win this. I just don't know if they do it. That's what's got me tripped up a little bit here.
I think they might just put Nakamura back to NXT. I heard people saying that he should just go back to NXT and just dominate down there.
Like how Finn did a couple years ago?
Yeah, something like that. Or Dolph Ziggler.
I'm going to go with Dylan, though. I'm going bold. I'm saying Nakamura's got to win this. Let's be honest, guys. I feel like LA Knight, at this level, I think he could move up to be the main eventer, like at least challenge Cody or Kevin for that WWE title. Like he could be like the challenger for the Rumble, and like no one would bat an eye. I think that'd be fine. So I think that LA needs to move on from the U.S. title. He's had a great run. He's had some great matches, but yeah, he definitely needs to move on. Nakamura needs something to sink his teeth into because he's not been able to do that.
Yeah,
so
I think this is one of those he can
I haven't been
definitely do
either.
that in.
Booting you off the damn show. Get out.
See ya.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Nakamura needs to win this U.S. title, and I'm predicting he will.
Yeah, give me Nakamura. I think he needs it. As much as I think that LA might win it, give me Nakamura. They really got to do something with him soon.
All right, LA Knight, congrats on the win since Matt's the only one that predicted LA Knight.
Bastard.
The other mid-card title here, I'm excited for this one.
Oh my
Braun
gosh.
Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. You want to talk about a banger? Oh my god.
This has show stealer written all over it. Let me just tell you.
Sorry, War Games.
Ludwig
I know
Kaiser.
Kaiser.
Anyway, who do you guys think's winning this?
Well, we've seen Braun lose. Braun has lost his IC title the first time really quickly. I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they're finally going to give him a long run. But I was wrong when they gave it to Jay. I did not expect that. And Sheamus still has not become a Grand Slam champion, so he still needs to win this damn IC title at least once. I don't think it's going to be this show, but I do think like at the end of this feud, Sheamus will beat Braun at some point. I just don't know when. Maybe next year.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
It's possible. I'm kind of right there with you. I went back and forth a little bit between the Braun and Sheamus thing, but I think they try to milk this or a version of this out a little bit. I think they give Braun that bit of a longer run. So give me Braun Breaker to retain in this absolute banger of a match.
We're going to have two Brauns. Any Ludwigs? No.
I'm happy.
Hey,
Not
he's
yet.
getting Tiffy, and that's my girl.
So he wins at
I love
life.
Tiffy.
He does win at life, yes.
I was gonna say I'm happy he's finally getting to a singles run. He's kind of like pushed more to a singles guy, and Gunther's kind of let him become the character that he is, and he's just so easy to despise and boo. But he puts on like great matches. They put him in with guys like Orton and Cody, so that proves that they like him. I even think Punk said he wants to work with them at some point, so goes to show how much they like him here. But yeah, I think Breaker's retaining. This is like his first defense since regaining it back. I don't see him losing it here. I think, like you guys said, they're going to milk out Sheamus's probably inevitable moment of becoming a Grand Slam champion. Kaiser's he's just not there yet to like win a title.
But
like
he's close.
He's close.
He's close.
But they're going to give Breaker like a nice little push here. I think he might even walk into Mania as champion. So, yeah, give me Braun.
Well, so I remember when Ludwig Kaiser remember when he wanted the U.S. title, like he wanted to bring back the European Championship. I feel like if he were to win the IC title, I feel like he would bring back the European Championship, which I would love for the European Championship to make a return. I think they should actually bring maybe a new European Championship, considering they got rid of NXT UK, because they still have like a lot of European worthy superstars on like Raw and SmackDown. I know like people were just like speculating like maybe they bring in a hardcore title, because I know they should like Travis Scott with like the WWE Championship, but it had like the hardcore.
What are we going to be, AEW with 15 championships?
We already are.
Who knows? But I mean, that's just like a thought for maybe not right now, but maybe in the future wise. But and if that's the case, if they were to bring a European Championship, I think Kaiser would be the first champion. But I think in this match, I think Breaker's going to retain the Intercontinental title. I don't see him losing it this quickly again. I do see it either being Breaker, Sheamus at WrestleMania, or, if the only other option I could see happening is if they don't do Sheamus versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, is them doing Ilya Dragunov if he's cleared. But and him winning it, but I think Breaker's going to retain.
Okay, we all agree with each other. Yay. All right, let's go to the World Heavyweight title. Mr. I don't have any confidence in me anymore in Gunther versus Damian Priest for the world title here. It's
not my ring general.
It's interesting how they've done this feud. It's interesting that they tried to have Gunther lose confidence ever since the Cody loss. I think people are kind of criticizing it, but I think it adds depth to Gunther's character. And his character with Gunther kind of felt one-dimensional. As amazing of a wrestler as he is, his character was kind of just like, I chop you and I dominate and I win. Like, this adds layers to it, and I kind of like that.
Yeah,
and
I'm kind of with you.
This might bring out like a more mean, aggressive Gunther now that he's like pissed off that people are like getting in his head. But what have you guys thought about this feud and like the second match that these two are going to have?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you in the whole. I like the layers that this can add, because it has just been like, I mean, he's fantastic on the mic, fantastic in the ring, but the character work for a majority of this run and before that is just elitist. I chop you, I'm big, I beat you. That's it.
I chop you.
It's nothing against him, but that is just how it's been. So I am curious to see the type of layers they can add with this. And being a huge Damian Priest fan as I am, I do like that this match is coming back. The match was great when they did it originally. I think this is going to be another great match between the two.
We saw it live.
We did?
Yeah.
Sam didn't.
I did not, but y'all did.
Sorry.
Hey, watch it.
It's you.
But yeah,
Troy,
I'm a big fan of this match.
Troy and Matt, what did you two think about this feud?
I think it's solid. I will agree, even though Gunther at this point is my favorite wrestler. It does add some depths. I am curious. I don't think this is the end of their feud. I think they're going to have one more, especially because this is still, a regular match?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just normal right now.
the attack that Gunther did to Damian on Raw with the mic and stuff leads me to believe this match will have maybe a fucky finish. I still see Gunther retaining and winning, but I can see this leading to a match either at Saturday night's main event or the Rumble being like a hardcore match or like some kind of like stipulation.
Yeah, there's some kind of stipulation in the wings for this. It's got to be. I'm with you. There's got to be more matches between these two. I think. I don't 100% know about the kind of like screwy shenanigan-ish finish. It definitely seems like something they would do. I'm also with you though. Give me Gunther to win this in whatever way they end up making it happen.
Matt, what do you think about this feud? And then, like, what's your prediction for this?
All right, so I think once Crown Jewel happened and Cody beat Gunther, that was kind of like a moment where Gunther realized he's not the greatest champion because Cody beat him, and it was fair as day. And what happened at SummerSlam with how Gunther won the title, he won it because of Finn. And it was a thing where even when Finn was screwing, Priest almost still retained, even Finn getting involved, but then eventually it caught up to him to where Gunther won. You look back at King and Queen of the Ring, Gunther beat Orton, but it was like a screwy finish. So, and then to take in the fact that Gunther lost the Intercontinental title against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, you can understand why he's like kind of feeling like he's not sure of himself because he's winning, but at the same time, some of it's been kind of like sloppy. I think that, in the back of his mind, he knows that, like, yeah, I beat Priest at SummerSlam for the world title, but Finn got involved like 2-3 times during that match. I think Gunther is going to retain in a very hard-fought battle, but I feel like Finn is going to get involved again and screw over Priest because they've been, I know we're revisiting the rivalry, but at the same time, Finn has been like talking about it on Raw and everything. So he's like, now he's back in the contingency. He's been going for the world title because Dirty Dom couldn't get it done and all that. And so I think it's going to happen to where Gunther beats Priest because of Finn. But I'm making a bold prediction thing to where if Gunther sees this, he's gonna push Finn and be like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, stay off of my match with him." Like I can see him getting real frustrated and pissed off because he's like, "I need to beat him fair and square," So I think Gunther is gonna retain, but it's definitely gonna be a sloppy finish to where we'll get Priest Gunther 3. Whether it's like at the end of the year or, Netflix or whatever.
They're going to stack that Netflix show. They might definitely have the third match at that Netflix show.
Yeah,
that's
what
it's interesting how much Gunther's character is based off of respect, because even when he lost to Cody and he shook his hand and Kaiser was going off on the next Raw, but Gunther was like, no, he beat him clean, fair and square. It's kind of like an old school traditional heel. It's kind of it is enjoyable to watch something different and to see Gunther kind of doubt himself a bit. But I think Gunther's going to retain too. I think for me it's a lock that he's going to be champion heading into Mania. I think he's the perfect heel champion to represent the other title on Raw at WrestleMania. It's interesting because Gunther Punk was originally rumored for this show, but I feel like they might have pushed it back to maybe Mania or maybe the Rumble to when they're eventually going to do this feud. I'm all on the Gunther versus Cena at WrestleMania in terms of right now. I'm on the train.
I'm right on that train with you.
That sounds awesome.
For the 17th title. It's a perfect feud, perfect heel versus perfect face in his last year, a perfect type of match.
It's a perfect Cena feud for it.
The promo offs between them, especially now that Gunther's been killing it on the mic. Like Sam mentioned and Matt mentioned with the fluky wins, that's what Cena can bring up, being like, dude, you're nothing but a fluke. That you've been winning off of shitty shenanigans. That's not what hustle, loyalty, respect is. Like, I could just see that in a feud. I
So
can see it.
also, Lord, do respect this.
That's something he would say.
That would
But
It really is. That just seems like such a perfect Cena feud, such a perfect match that could be for that. I'm riding that train all the way to Mania until someone tells me
Yeah.
different.
yeah, but at first I was kind of like, I didn't want to say in terms of this match squash match, but I wanted this to be like a Gunther so infuriated with how he's been treated that he just goes to town. He just goes nuts. Like Priest's chest is bleeding. Maybe Priest is just bladed overall and go. But I don't think it's gonna be a squash. Like I think it'll be dominance, but Priest like just tries to fight back. But in the end, Gunther, I think he'll win clean. I think he'll establish himself. Like, oh, you want to talk shit about me as a fluke champion and the way I've been winning? I'm going to put your ass to sleep. And I think Gunther's been, and I think the story with him and Cody, with Gunther bragging about putting him to sleep and Cody saw it coming and rolled him up. He never mentioned that in the Priest feud. So I think that means, I think Gunther's going to put Priest to sleep to kind of protect Damian a little bit to justify another match between them. Because I'm with you guys that the feud's not over yet. They'll probably have another match, maybe one more to complete the trilogy that WWE just loves to have trilogies. But
WWE's a big fan of 3.
they are.
On only 3.
But I
No
think
more,
It's
no
either
less.
3 or way too many. It's one or the other.
It's either
Yes.
3 or the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns number of
Ugh.
matches.
anyway, give me Gunther to retain. But it is main event time, and the reason why I'm so
Anyone
hyped
cares.
for War Games, the Bloodline, the OG versus the new Bloodline. I got my merch here. It's no
Timu Bloodline.
It's no Sammy and no Punk, which I love the post by Punk where he just put all the childhood, like first Sammy did it, but then Punk did it with the childhood pictures of them and Heyman too. When he
It's
was
so
younger.
funny.
It's
so
beautiful.
good. It's
Gold.
good.
It's absolute gold.
CM Punk is in this match to bleed buckets. Of how badly he bled at Hell in a Cell, he's gonna be a gusher at this
Drew
match. I
bled
can't
worse. He bled way worse.
I know.
They both were like, oh my god, they were bleeding way more than I expected them to. And
Yeah,
I know one of them was not exactly intended, but
I'm pretty sure we all have positive thoughts about what's been going on in this feud, but overall,
it's
give us your thoughts about it.
I think it's been good. Definitely the returns and like the OG Bloodline coming together have been some great television. Paul Heyman coming back. I was talking to Sam a couple weeks ago about this, that Bronson Reed fits so well in this new Bloodline that he probably should have been in this group all along.
He
just
looks
works.
Samoan.
he really does.
It fits so well.
He
I
really
love it.
fits. It's so perfect.
My
I love
ego
it.
wanted The Rock. My ego wanted The Rock.
Yeah,
but
we
I
all
knew it
did.
was too
I
good to
wanted
be
it
true.
too. I also wanted Hikaluka, Hikalu, the other cousin they signed.
Oh yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know who you're talking about.
Hikuleo.
You know, Hikaleo.
Yeah, that.
I want him too because I've seen his work, some clips, and he's really great. But I'm happy the Bronson Reed's in there. It makes storyline sense why Seth Rollins isn't in this match, but still, I don't know. I feel like CM Punk's like a weird choice if you hindsight. Like we'll see how this match goes. I think CM Punk's a weird final pick.
I think the Heyman factor makes it make sense.
That's the only yeah.
Like he's not really here to help out the Bloodline. He's here to help Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if you remember,
I can see that too.
if you remember when Heyman, before he got attacked, he was like, CM Punk was on a SmackDown episode, and it was like Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, and then like Heyman like looked at him, and he just was like, "Please take me with you." So
Yeah.
like,
And I
I think this is like a favor called in by Heyman for Punk.
The continuity of cashing in the favor, I think, really is like a good piece to this, and it makes the CM Punk thing make sense. First of all, Paul Heyman, allow him to get the biggest pop of a return without any music at all. Like, oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen is all that you ever need, and
That's
was
his
just
theme.
fantastic.
Did you see that clip on like social media where he's just like backstage and he's ready to say it in the mic?
Yeah.
And the whole
That was so
crowd
cool.
was like erupted.
Oh, what do you
Such
think about
a
that?
cool way to do that.
Paul Heyman is wearing a suit very similar to Solo. Does that mean that Paul is?
I was about to
here's
ask that.
It-
What
what
do
do
we
you
think
think
of
about
this? What do we think of this? Everything in the
interesting.
bloodline matters. Everything that they
I
do
think
matters.
Heyman's not going to be happy with Roman because the fact that Roman had left for so long and did not come back to help Heyman, didn't get in any contact with him, and Heyman got attacked and everything, and Roman didn't return until SummerSlam.
They never
I can
hugged.
see-
They never hugged on
They
SmackDown.
never hugged.
I'm not sure if you saw the clip, but people pointed it out when they were leaving after the show. Punk was leaving with Heyman, and the rest of the bloodline was in the back.
Mm.
And
didn't
you
see that
see
clip.
Roman's face, and he's just like he's a little bit confused. Could this lead to maybe Heyman joining the other bloodline, him joining with The Rock, possibly? But at the same time, I don't know, because like they did attack Heyman. They made Heyman live in hell. So I could see where it's just like maybe Heyman just might just he's like, I'm with Punk again. I'm managing Punk. That's it. I don't want to deal anything with you guys anymore. I'm done with it. And I can see Heyman just taking care of Punk and then maybe Brock Lesnar in the future.
If he does ever show up.
Yeah, who knows? Everyone wanted Lesnar to be in this like fifth spot too. I remember seeing a lot of things online.
I wasn't
would've
sure.
made
I wasn't
zero
sure when
sense.
Heyman came out. When Heyman came out, I was kind of like, "Is it Punk or is it Brock?"
Yeah,
and I was
it
kinda
would have
like,
made no
okay.
sense other than
Brock would've-
trying to
Brock
counter
would have
Beast
made no
with Beast.
sense. After the feud
Yeah.
with Roman, we're really gonna have Brock team with him. That would have made no sense to me.
Yeah, it would
Well,
have
Heyman
been so
could have
weird.
called the big guns in. Could you imagine Brock Lesnar being in War Games? Just the shit that he would do. He would
Don't get me
F5
wrong.
someone off the damn structure, just like he did in Chamber.
Yeah, the only thing that would have really made any sort of like barely sense to make it work is
Curse Axel.
countering Bronson Reed with Brock Lesnar. Like that's the only like, oh, you
Yeah.
got big guy, here's big guy. But I think with everything else, with having Punk in there, with the cashing in the favor, with the history with Heyman, and with
Seth Rollins.
the Seth Rollins feud, being able to
Yep.
escalate that with, oh, you're going to help them, or there's definitely something where that's going to continue to build towards that feud. I love it. It's very interesting. I like your point, Dylan, about everything in the bloodline matters. Every little detail.
Everything.
So it is interesting to see. Oh, he looked very similar to Solo, but you also look at how he was clean cut. There was no he looked like calmer, like the beginning bloodline Paul Heyman, rather than like the gray hair, unshaven kind of like wreck that he
No
had
sleep.
looked like.
No sleep.
Team
Literally
Bloodline.
no sleep. Yeah, but before we get to the predictions, I'll pull up the picture. We gotta talk about the elephant in the room, and it's the final boss. What do we think?
Final boss.
Matt mentioned his name. Do we think he returns here after the match?
Again,
during the match?
he
What
already
do we
returned
think?
though. He already returned to put up like the 3 symbol and then leave. And I thought that was fucking stupid because that meant nothing. Because he's not come back yet. What the?
And that's it.
Well, here's the thing. He's gonna show up, and this time, if he did the 3, he's gonna do the 2. And then next time when he shows up, he'll do 1.
He's gonna do
Oh
this.
yes, the next year at Rumble.
And then it'll be a 0, meaning he's back, and he's gonna fight Cody or something. Roman.
I hate it so much. Every goddamn. I know The Rock's filming live action Moana right now, but guys, fuck off. Okay.
I love that Cody and Seth were at the premiere, being like, "Don't you guys hate this guy?
Yeah.
What are you doing at the premiere?"
Free movie's a free movie.
It's certainly an interesting dynamic, and curious to see what they'll do with him.
I saw someone post on Instagram saying now we know what Rock gave Cody the night after Mania. It was 2 free tickets to Moana, dude.
Cody just shows it off on SmackDown. It's like, hey.
Cody can take his daughter.
I got 2 tickets.
I got tickets.
One for me.
One for him. Cody can take his daughter.
That's how their feud's gonna rekindle. It's gonna be that movie sucked.
My daughter didn't like the movie.
In all
Listen.
seriousness, no, do we think he's gonna show up for this?
To do
Yes.
what though? He's gonna stand out the ring again. Is he actually get involved?
It's another one of those things. If he does return, I don't think he gets involved much. I hope he at least speaks words this time. But I do laugh, and as much as I wanted it, also how people wanted him to be the man in this match. I'm like, Rocky ain't doing a War Games match.
Yeah.
I don't think Rocky's working a War Games match as much as I would love to see it. But it's tough. I want to say he shows up. I hope he does more than just kind of stare or do something cryptic. But I have a feeling that if he does show up, he's probably just doing something cryptic. But yeah, it's
then
interesting.
cut to 30-minute Instagram promo afterwards.
Oh yeah, what the?
Yeah, exactly. The 30-minute Instagram promo where we'll get more questions than answers, just like we did whenever he was out for like 10 seconds.
Well, I think as much as we joke about that, the cryptic stuff I think is kind of cool. The only thing I didn't like about the Bad Blood thing is that Roman just hasn't mentioned him since. That's the part
like
where
it
I'm
didn't
just
happen.
kinda like,
I get it. Yeah,
that's the part where I'm like, at least bring him up because it's a big deal that he's back or that he showed up.
Exactly. And they've been working off that cryptic kind of thing for this entire feud. So like I didn't hate it. I hate that it doesn't really seem to make any sense until he comes back next, like you mentioned.
I think it'll eventually make sense, but for now it's a little bit weird. I'm with the rest of you, especially with Matt. I think he's got to show up here if we got to continue the feud. I'll be bold. I think he'll come after the match. I'm gonna go bold, and he attacks Roman and walks away with Heyman.
Oh, that is bold.
I can agree with that.
Like it. I kind of like it.
That sounds. I would see
Either
that.
he attacks Roman or Rock like points or something, and Heyman low blows Roman, and he walks off with Rock. Yeah.
Absolute cinema. That would be.
This entire storyline has been just absolute cinema.
Absolute.
Yes. We didn't like it for some periods. We got tired of Roman's reign a little bit.
It gets stale at times.
But overall, it's been good.
It's just absolutely fantastic overall. Oh my gosh.
But let's get into like predictions and maybe if like any turns are happening or whatever. Who do we think is winning this main event?
It's so interesting. I feel like you can go either way. You can make a case for both, and I think that's what's so perfect about it.
I have my prediction.
Oh boy.
So Matt has the answer.
I think New Bloodline needs to win.
Ooh.
It's a good way to get Bronson Reed. And maybe if he actually takes the pin, I can see him taking the pin to get in good with the Bloodline to where he joins them. I think Jacob had to. Solo definitely needs the win. I feel like same thing with with the women's. I feel like Roman's team. It's dissension. I feel like it's not there together. Yeah, they're together and they're working together. But I mean, with Sammy, him not nearly there with Roman. Jimmy has little issues with Sammy. Roman doesn't really. We got CM Punk involved, which
Roman hasn't apologized.
Yeah, Roman's not. I'm not saying he hates him, but like he doesn't know whether to trust him. Sammy wanted Seth, and Roman's like, no. I feel like they're not gonna work together properly, like they did last time.
Now we are filming this before SmackDown, and CM Punk and Roman are supposed to have a confrontation, like a talking agreement on SmackDown. So a lot could change on SmackDown. So we already talked about this like before, because CM Punk and Roman could like have huge condolences and make the team stronger and all that stuff on SmackDown. We're just filming it at a time where we don't know yet.
But Punk could be just saying, "Look, I'm helping you guys because of him, not because of you." That's how I feel like it's going to go on SmackDown. He's like, I'm not helping you, Roman. I'm helping Heyman because he asked me to.
Well, I think that's exactly it, because I think that's pretty much the confrontation that they had via words already that we didn't see. Like, if you were reading the lips, like, it's for him, it's not for
it's
you.
like, I ain't here for you, I'm here for him.
Yeah, so I think we'll just get that, like, where we can hear it. I think it's going to be another one of those types of things. And also, I don't necessarily think the advantage match, albeit it's going to be a banger between Jacob Fatu and main event Jey Uso, I don't think that really would change my opinion much. I also, my gut feeling, and I've gone back and forth on this, like, for at least the length of this podcast, that right now, I'm still thinking, going by gut feeling, I think New Bloodline wins this.
Wow.
Or,
interesting.
Sorry, as I like to call them, Temu Bloodline.
Team New
Like, I don't know. I don't know how, if it's clean, if it's convincing. I'm not sure. But that gut feeling is that New Bloodline comes away with this in some way, shape, or form.
What do you mean if it's clean or not? It's a no
I know there's no rules, but you never know. There's no rules, but you can still have someone come in. You never know.
Rock.
Like,
I was gonna say, do you think maybe Seth comes out and gets involved? Like,
that's one of the things that I was thinking. Yeah. Like, you have Seth that's kind of waiting out there. You've got, of course, Rocky, who could come in and mess up with the finish rather than come in at the end. You never know. But yeah, it's there's definitely a lot of interesting factors that are kind of like swirling around the outside of this storyline, and then of course everything that's built within it. It's going to be an absolute masterpiece. It's just a matter of how we're going to get to that finish.
So my gut feeling is, and I'm just going to go with gut, and I'm going to try to be a contrarian. I'm going to go with the face team. I just think
OGs.
The OGs. I don't really have, like, I understand y'all's perspective of picking the heels to win, and honestly, thinking about it, it kind of makes more sense for them to win. But I don't know. I just think Roman with Punk and like all like sharks. I don't, unless Jimmy takes the fall, I just don't see them losing. I just think that this OG bloodline is going to be the ones that walk out victorious.
I've been back and forth too, but I'm going to side with Troy and go with the OG bloodline to win.
We got a half and half.
I don't
split.
Roman got pinned at Crown Jewel, and I just don't see the guy losing 2 pay-per-views in a row. It's very hard for me to believe, especially with guys like Punk, who's booked strong. Even Jay's normally booked pretty strong overall.
And Sammy's booked strong.
Yeah, and I get that exactly.
Yeah, I feel like the actual like big like turns or anything like that will happen after the OG wins. We'll see maybe some dissension of Punk and Roman, or even Roman and Sammy, of like, oh god, are they gonna turn on each other? But I think they'll overcome it and win. And I know you could say Solo and Bronson Reed and that maybe they need it more, but I actually have loved Solo's character. He's actually pretty funny and entertaining when he's allowed to speak. The I got tickets was pretty.
He's really coming into his own as of late. I'm loving it.
He was the entire time of his career. That was the most charismatic he was with those 2 tickets.
I got tickets.
But the thing,
the lips.
But I think the thing is, I just think this new bloodline is supposed to be presented like as threats, but we're supposed to boo them and think they're flukes. Like, this isn't the real bloodline. Like, Roman's bloodline's the real bloodline.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of the OG winning, being like they've been around longer. They have a mutual bond, while Solo and these guys like just started teaming. And while they're more powerful, Roman's is like more about love and caring and all that.
Family.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to the most about this match? Is when Jacob Fatu, for the 5th time in the match, goes like, I love you, Solo!
If he does a moonsault off the top of that,
oh my god, give it to me, yes.
They know.
I will say this, and kind of going along what you were mentioning about not seeing Roman like lose a second pay-per-view or anything like that. I will say, as much as I still think New Bloodline wins it, it's got to be Jimmy taking the fall. I think that's just given.
I think Sammy could be a guy taking it.
I could see Punk in the pin if like Seth comes in and gets involved and all that and
If it
screws
does
over
get
Punk,
screwy,
maybe.
yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And they could blame Punk, at the same point, but then at the same time, it's like, well,
I think anybody in the match other than Roman's is like viable
It's
to get
probably-
pinned.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
not
could
Jay,
make sense.
maybe not Jay, but anybody else. But yeah, Solo's bloodline. I just think we're adding something bigger when The Rock gets involved, and I think that's going to be the true threat to Roman. And it's all about the Uafala too. So I feel like Roman's team's going to win, and Roman's going to have the Uafala. And then that's when The Rock shows up, Heyman turns on him or something big happens, and The Rock takes the Uafala. And we finally get revealed that he's been the one pulling the strings. Because he's more legit as a tribal chief than Solo is. As good as Solo's character is, the man was on a losing streak forever. It's way more of a threat to Roman and way more of a better obstacle for Roman to overcome if The Rock is the tribal chief. And also too, this is kind of the end of the Romans, to me, at least the end of the Roman Solo stuff. Maybe they'll do Roman Fatu matches, which will be cool, but this is it, I think, for Roman Solo. So I think if that's the case, the good guy Roman's got to come out with he's got to end the feud with the win to me. So I'm with you, Troy. I'm with you. Hold the one up.
Perfectly split. Perfectly split.
Perfectly balanced, as everything should be.
As everything should be.
Stole my line, Troy.
Get on my level.
That's But was there anything else you wanted to mention for this pay-per-view or just in the landscape of wrestling in general?
I was going to mention, what do y'all think about CM Punk's? This is his 1 year anniversary coming back to WWE. How do you feel his 1 year went?
Oh, before you answer that, let me play a cool video behind the scenes of Punk's return. And this was definitely the best part of it.
Is this the Orton? Is this the?
Can I not enjoy 10 minutes of my return?
Everything is worth it. Just rain on your
You did this to personally attack me.
Yes.
I'm all sweaty.
I don't care, brother.
Oh, that was amazing.
Oh my God, that was so damn funny.
I can't enjoy my return for 10 fucking minutes.
10 minutes.
I'm happy that Orton. I'm happy that he didn't take it seriously because he could have easily.
Unlike the fans.
Yeah.
Because the fans were making a big deal and Orton made it. He was like, "Oh, come on, man!"
I feel like old Orton maybe would have been pissed, like actually pissed, but new, more mature adult Orton, he doesn't care.
I'm sure he knew in advance too that he was like, "Yeah, you're returning, but we have Punk coming," But
just so you know.
Yeah, but the whole behind the scenes thing was insane to see all the guys he interacted with.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to mention. Punk talked about how he doesn't know how many Hell in a Cell matches he had left in him, and yet he had the Hell in a Cell with Drew and all that. Because I remember they were trying to like have him be like book a Hell in a Cell for the first match, and it was like, nah. So he goes to the Hell in a Cell match and wins and all that, and he's like, I don't know what's next for me for my future and all that. Comes back and immediately is going into War Games.
And another cell.
He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I like danger.
You can just see
heavily.
I wonder how AJ feels about this.
But
I wonder how Larry feels about it.
Oh,
not Larry.
Larry on a pole match confirmed.
Larry on a pole.
He's like in a little
That's
cage.
what the dude should have been with Drew.
Come on. I mean, his Drew feud was awesome. It was sad that he got injured before Mania.
That's gonna be the WrestleMania match against Seth. Larry on a pole.
Last Mania, they were
Larry on a
doing
pole.
This Mania.
The custody of Larry on.
Oh my
Why don't you
god.
fucking shit right now?
Anyway, any other wrestling stuff you guys want to discuss?
The TNA and WWE partnership is still going strong. That's nice to see always. I love TNA. I just like mentioning TNA. Not a lot of I'm trying to think what has happened. JBL's in TNA right now, clotheslining every motherfucker.
Oh, they might bring up NXT talent for next year for when Netflix and all that. So because I know they said that I think I heard that they wanted to flash out more when they go to 3 hours for both shows. So
I know
We can
Xia
probably-
Li signed to TNA, so there you go.
I used to like Xia Li.
It's not...
She had no
think-
character, but
do we have any ideas of who we think could possibly get called up from NXT?
Ethan Page.
Yeah, I was thinking Ethan Page
Yeah.
would be one.
Ethan Page.
Ethan
I can see,
Page.
seems like the
I can
obvious
see
one.
Roxanne if she
Close.
loses her title.
Yeah.
Are we talking like just call up or Rumble appearances?
Just call
Call up in general.
okay,
Yeah.
they could possibly also be in the Rumble. I feel like Rumble is kind of like a different. That's for later type of stuff.
We're
But
gonna see them for the Rumble regardless.
Because
Yeah.
I could see like Trick getting called up once he loses. his-
Yeah. I know Jordan Grace's TNA contract is ending. So I think I've heard people say that she's going to sign with WWE. So
she
might-
already did.
She already did sign WWE?
Yeah, she's in NXT now.
Well, I thought that was just still the TNA partnership.
No, she's been in NXT the last couple weeks. She
she's
debuted
still
either at the ECW event or it was like before that.
Well, she's still in TNA because she's facing for the Knockouts title, I think, at the next show.
No, because
That's what
I think she has signed because she's been on like weekly television now. Trying to
No,
think.
it still hasn't expired yet. It expires in January with TNA.
No, she's probably gonna sign it. Regardless.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
probably
she's gonna be coming
She's
over
awesome.
whenever it does end. I will give it that.
Did you guys see the ECW special tribute for NXT?
I did.
Huge.
saw a bit of
So
it.
fun.
Huge. Absolute cinema. Great show.
Beautiful.
Chase, you ended.
Ugh.
Does that mean Andre Chase is going to go to main roster since now he's left?
See, I don't know where that's gonna go with that. I kind of feel like that might happen, but at the same time, I don't know if like what's gonna happen with everyone. Like they're obviously gonna have to have like a repackaged gimmick. Everyone, because if Andre Chase can't be associated with them, then the Chase University is obviously over and done with. I want to know what happens to Thea Hale. She's from Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
She's from Ringgold.
She's up. Why'd you mute my mic?
Oh, my bad. I accidentally clicked the button.
Because Troy needs to be muted.
Can you mute Matt real quick?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, sure.
Fuck you, dickhead.
It's just...
Wait, hang on a minute.
I bring the views, just letting you know.
Oh, sure, you do.
Hey, me and Troy got a pretty good amount of views on our last video, so
See?
don't want to hear it.
I gotta do my daily bitching about AEW. All right, I gotta stretch.
Oh, God.
Oh boy, here we go. I might have to go.
So, fuck Rampage. I mean, that's the most worthless shit show ever.
It's just...
Tell me the last time you watched Rampage.
Dude, I don't watch much from AEW at all. So
I watch more TNA than I watch AEW.
All right, let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know anything what's going on with that.
I don't know anything about it.
Zack Sabre Jr. I know that.
I know
Wasn't
he
Kenny
exists.
Omega having a match?
I
Maybe,
heard
I don't
that
know.
he was like challenging someone for Wrestle Kingdom, I think.
But that's in
Or,
How
like,
come
when
January.
he comes
how come
back.
he ain't in AEW?
Because fuck.
His injuries, what he's going through is pretty bad. So.
Yeah, so fair enough. Oh, Ricochet, man of no charisma, but all the flips.
True.
This man, have you seen any of his AEW promos? Fuck, man. This man
Not
is
great.
legit. He is white toast,
I saw someone
motherfucker.
post on social media. They were like, the best thing WWE did for Ricochet was not give him a mic.
Yeah.
True.
I don't understand why the guy can't have a manager. Maybe if he joins the Hurt Syndicate, that'll be good for him.
Yeah, because then he can talk.
Yeah.
So,
And
Well-
Pretty Ricky could just stand there and look while doing flips.
Stand there, do flip.
Thinking of Ricky, what about Ricky Stark's promo in GCW? Saying how sick he is, but he's not getting used.
Yeah, he's going to
You see him?
WWE once
So
he can.
going to WWE.
I saw his
AEW
interview with
supposed
Chris
to know.
Van Vliet, and he was like, I don't know why the hell they haven't used me.
He's healthy too. Like, there's no reason not to.
Who knows? Tony
And
Khan just forgot he was on the roster.
Oh, I think I saw what's his name? Penta's contract ends in like a week or so. I think I heard.
True, but doesn't Ray Phoenix's contract not end until like next year because of injury time?
Yeah, his injury time I think was more added than Penta's was.
I can see Penta still debuting before Phoenix though.
Like as a single star, then like here's my brother.
Yeah, like if he starts in NXT or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Or he can debut at the Rumble.
There's a way.
Maybe there is.
Speaking of the Rumble, Joe Hendry's got to be in it.
Oh, that pop is gonna be the greatest pop. That's gonna be
Number
a generational
30.
pop.
I know. I see him either being like one or two.
You gotta see him and Cena interact. Because I know Henry told a story about how Cena like voicemailed him or something. It's a full circle moment for him.
Yo, could you imagine? He does it with Cena, and they both do the. You just see it, Joe Hendry in Cena's face.
Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. Take my money right now. I'll buy that on a shirt.
All right,
Yo,
we gotta end this episode.
that should be a part of Cena's retirement tour. Him teaming up with Joe Hendry.
John Cena goes to TNA.
Anyway, that'll do it here for this WrestleMania of the podcast episode because we're just planning it at this point. So for Troy, Sam, Matt with bad teeth, and Dylan,
That is.
enjoy War Games. Have a good night, guys. And I'll leave you guys with William Regal once again.
War Games! War Games! Oh, here it is! War Games! War Games!